All right, so I'm here at Blizzard's PAX East 2015 event, talking about Heroes of the Storm with Dustin and Alan. So Heroes of the Storm is kind of a bit different in a space similar to League of Legends, to Dota 2. Some people will have said, or at least I've heard say, that it's sort of an entry-level MOBA, that it's kind of a lower skill cap. What's your response to that? What do you think about the skill cap and how you're designing it?
Well, we're definitely designing a game that's accessible, that people can get into, but the skill cap is still off the charts. We compare it very much to Hearthstone, where you've got a game where it's very easy to get into, but we're seeing amazing esports events played with Hearthstone, and it requires incredible skill. I've been playing Heroes of the Storm now for over a year, and I'm getting schooled by the players that are out there. So I know that there's a high skill cap to this game. When I play in my bullpen with our designers, you know who the best players are, and they win every fight, and we see that again and again and again, where you've got a game that's accessible. It's very easy to go, well, it must be a low skill cap. The opposite of accessible is not skilled. The opposite of accessible is too complicated, right? And so we're going for something that's very accessible, but still requires a great deal of skill ultimately to master.
Yeah, so one thing you've changed up is there's no buying. Can you talk a bit about that design decision?
Yeah, so one of the things we wanted to do with Heroes of the Storm was create a game where we could sort of change up the rules and allow some of the character types that we all really enjoyed playing, like support characters, to really shine, or characters like Abathur or Murky, some really unusual types of characters that we really couldn't do with a game that was about getting gold and buying items. And we also ran into this weird problem of, is Arthas going to buy another sword, right? What kind of armor is Diablo going to buy? It seemed really awkward to us. And we started working on heroes like Uther and heroes like Malfurion. These are characters that are dedicated support characters. We couldn't do these if they had to go out and kill enemy heroes to buy stuff, right? They would need to be balanced to be a little bit support and some DPS too, because they gotta earn gold, right? Because they gotta be part of this whole ecosystem of gold. And we found by taking that out, it just took off the chains in terms of what we could do as game designers. We can do a hero like Abathur. Have you played Abathur yet? This is a hero who can command. He sits back and basically can't fight. He's a total disaster at battle. This is a Gene Weaver from Heart of the Swarm. He's terrible at fighting, but he can, anywhere on the map, he can infest his allies, and then he can shoot skill shots off of his allies to assist them in a battle. So this is a character type that doesn't even exist in the lane, that could never earn gold. And you think, it's hard to hit with a skill shot. Now hit with a skill shot where you can't control your own feet, where you're trying to help somebody else who's running around in all kinds of directions to make things happen. So we feel like, by getting rid of gold for us and for our game, it made a lot of sense from the lore and that kind of perspective, but it also made a huge difference to us in terms of the game design. It removed a lot of the restrictions, which we found were limiting us and preventing us from doing some really cool things with our heroes.
Yeah, you have the interesting challenge of taking these heroes with existing backgrounds and then bringing them into a different kind of game with new skills, right? And you've just announced a new hero and a new battleground. Do you want to talk about some of those abilities and Lady Sylvanas, how that's going to work?
Right, so we've been working on Sylvanas for a while now. We announced her, or teased her, last PAX East last year. And Sylvanas is really a very sort of siege character that can really push and destroy a lane. She's got some burst potential, some ability to really drop enemy heroes with her bow, of course, but she can possess enemy minions, she can possess enemy mercenaries, take control of them, mind control them, make them join her team. She can shut down towers with a basic attack. So any of her basic attacks shuts down towers or minions, so they can't shoot back at all. And she's got a lot of sort of sneaky, clever, sort of dark abilities she can use to sort of run over the enemy and sort of destroy an entire lane. You leave Sylvanas alone in one part of the battlefield, you're going to lose the whole thing. You've got to get down there and deal with her.
I'll throw it over to you because I feel like I'm leaving you out.
That's fine. I'll jump in. I can talk about the battleground now. So we got Tomb of the Spider Queen. It's the new battleground that we're announcing. It's a different take from the battleground that we just released in the last update, Sky Temple, and it's a much smaller battleground. You're basically always in lanes. You're really fighting to collect these gems that you drop from the minions in the lanes. And when you collect enough of those gems, you take them to these basically return points, and the Spider Queen will summon forth these web weavers to push the lanes and help you kind of attack the enemy. It's another kind of different take on the same game, and that's kind of what we love about all these battlegrounds, is it changes the game. Where in Sky Temple, you might be sitting on one of those temples for a long time outside of the lane, really protecting it and having those temples fire at your enemy's base. In this game, in this battleground, now you're basically always in lane, and you're really trying to collect all these gems so that you can push the lane as well. There's another interesting mechanic as well where the web weavers kind of will go until they hit an enemy force, either minions or towers. So when you actually do summon them, you kind of want to position your guys pushed in those lanes so that the web weavers go as far as they can. So it just adds a whole nother dimension to the game.
So last thing is something interesting just announced, the Heroes of the Dorm tournament that we already have plans to cover and you guys are putting on. Can you talk a bit about why a college tournament, the educational aspect, and where that idea came from and what you're excited about for that?
I think you need the esports team to answer all of those questions, like where the idea came from. We have this dedicated esports team at Blizzard that's been working, for many, many years with us on really all of our games for quite some time, and they caught up this idea, which we thought was great, sort of showcase the game. We're still in beta, so we didn't really want, a very formal tournament in that sense. We wanted to get some new blood into the pool and let some new players try it out. And you can go to heroesofthedorm.com to check it out, see everything that we're planning to do. It's available to, all students at four-year universities can check this out and join and see what's going to happen. It's going to be very cool.
Actually, I'll add to it. The thing that I really like about it is just the aspect where we'll pay for your college tuition, essentially. So I think it's a really cool thing where if students are going to be playing these games anyways, let's actually go after something and it can help out their educational background, but also gets newer players into the game. So there's a lot of cool things about this event that I think people are going to be excited about.
So as you mentioned, you guys are in closed beta right now. Do you have plans to go into open beta anytime soon, or when might that be?
Yes, we will definitely go into open beta. That will definitely happen, but we don't know exactly when yet. There's a lot of technology that still needs to be stood up before we can know for sure what's going to happen. We've all seen the uncertainty of modern game development, where suddenly you got a flood of people arrive at your servers, maybe bad things happen. So we really want to try to ramp up as we go through closed beta before we hit an open beta to make sure that we're as stable as we can possibly be to anticipate what kinds of changes we need to make to our hardware, our software, to make sure everything is as good as we possibly can. Even then, it's an uncertain business. But we're going to keep adding people to our beta. We'll keep ramping people in as fast as we possibly can so we can get to that point where we go, you know what? We think the servers can handle it. Let's see what happens when we go to open beta. And we're going to keep working towards that day.
I'm looking forward to trying the new content. And before I let you guys go back to what you were doing, we have this awesome laptop here that we're having everyone sign, and we're going to give away to a reader. So, hey, you'll be number 3 on there. You can go anywhere you want. All right. Thank you guys so much.